All right, guys, so over the break, you're going to go to usatestprep.com and use the login that you got. Make sure when you type in the account ID and it says Benton52 that the green check appears to the outside of it. Then when you log in, you should see a screen that looks like this where it has your 3 assignments. Each of these are tests. They're just kind of reviewing it, set up kind of like the LEAP. So when you take it, you'll answer the questions. There's tabs at the top. So if I start this test, they're not timed. You can take as long as you need. You can come back. But see, there's multiple choice questions. The tabs will take you to different questions that you have to do. So make sure that you do all of them. Then you'll hit save. And if you're ready to turn it in, you'll submit it. If you're not ready to turn it in, you can go back to home. But the deal is for each of these, there are going to be questions you don't know. That is okay. I can't choose the questions that are in it. It's pre-selected for me to mimic the LEAP. But some of the questions are covering things that you don't have to know for the LEAP. So you have to get a 75% or higher in order for it to like accept it as complete. If you don't get a 75% or higher, it's going to tell you to retry. But I will tell you, don't try to just, the first time I'll just choose A on all of them, because that will affect you negatively in the long run with your score, because it works on a percentage based on how many you get right versus how many you get wrong. So make sure you're trying to get the most correct every time you take it. Does that make sense? And you should be able to review and look at questions after you take it. It may not tell you the right answer, but it should tell you which ones you got wrong. But so you need to do all 3 of those. It says it's due on the 4th, but as soon as I figure out how to change the setting, it will actually be due on the 7th, whatever, the Thursday after we come back. So you have some time, not during the break, but I highly recommend that you try and do some of it during the break, so that that you're not waiting till the Wednesday night before it's due, because you'll be sitting there for a long time. Break it up, use it to just kind of keep your brain going. You can start it, stop it, whatever. But there's another part to this. If you do all of these, you can also go up here to practice in the top left. Everybody do it with me. When you go to practice under LEAP 2025, it says biology. If you click on there, it shows you all of our standards that we had to do. So let's say you have a test grade that you really don't like. It's not very good. It's bringing your grade down. You can choose a section. I would choose the section that you think you're the weakest at. And you can go through, and if you click on the down arrows for each of the standards, there's videos, vocabulary, questions, performance tasks. As you do these and you get things right, this dot right here will change from red to yellow to green. And this bar, as you complete things, it will move further and further. For a section, so let's say you say, well, I'm going to do these for molecules, organisms. As you choose these, if you get all of these green and the bar is at least 50% on all of them, I will go back to the test grade that concerns you, and I will adjust that test grade for you to help your grade out. Does that make sense? If there's 2 test grades, you can go to 2 of them and do that, but they all have to be green and they have to be at least 50%. Yes.
Do we have to do the whole section, or can we just do like LS3?
No, it has to be a whole section. Here where it says hereditary inheritance variation of traits, we haven't done the Punnett squares yet. So this one, I mean, it'll be good. It'll teach you some of the information. So if you want to do that to get ahead, by all means do it. But this is the one I might focus the least on, this one, and do some of these other ones first, because I think the LEAP this year is going to be pretty high on these standards. So pick a section, do all of it, and but all the section has to be green and all the bars have to be at least 50%. But do you remember how I said don't go into the test and just answer every question? Like, I'm just going to answer them to see how I do the first time, choose A. Well, if the question has something to do with biological evolution and you got it wrong, then that works against your understanding of that standard. So the more questions you miss on a standard, the harder it is to get it to green, because it's based on your percentage of how many times you've done it versus how many you got it right. So if you just guessed on the test and you guessed 50 times and you just chose A and you just kept getting them wrong, well, now in order to get it to green, you have to answer 100 questions on biological evolution and get them right in order to get it to turn green. So does that make sense? So try your hardest every time and don't just go, oh, well, B. Does that make sense? If you get really stuck on a question while you're over the break and you're like, I just don't know, screenshot it, send it to me, and I'll check my email periodically. I'm not going to check it every day, but screenshot it, email me, and I will try to explain it to you. Yes, ma'am. I am not sure the answer to that question. There's not an app, so it would have to be on the internet. I just don't know how much of it you'll be able to see, but it might. So do y'all understand? So this is to help a test grade, right? And when you go back home, these are the assignments that you have to do, and it'll be due the Thursday after we come back. Please do some over the break and keep your brain going. So these are required. Remember, to get to the stuff to help a test grade, go to practice, biology, and then it brings up all the standards. And all of any one section has to be green. Each bar has to be past 50%. And in order to get the stuff for that standard, just click the little down arrow and it shows you the things that you can do to help your understanding. Y'all good? All right.